Hey, welcome back. So today we are going to be continuing with reading out loud meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And before we begin, I would like to preface that I understand what I'm doing here is really cringe, and basically nobody is watching. But I have the ultimate conviction that what I am doing here is worthwhile, and it will somehow pay off in the future. And besides, who doesn't like a learned man who can read fluently? But without further ado, we shall begin with meditations. And today we are going to be reading out loud for 20 minutes. And the timer starts now. And besides, my phone is charging today, so we are going to be using the timer on my computer right now. Alrighty, let's begin. 20 minutes. Think of the whole existence, of which you are the tiniest part. Think of the whole time, in which you have been assigned a brief and fleeting moment. Think of destiny. What fraction of that are you? Another does wrong. What is that to me? Let him see to it. He has his own disposition, his own action. I have now what universal nature wishes me to have now, and I do what my own nature wishes me to do now. The directing and sovereign part of your soul must stay immune to any current in the flesh, either smooth or troubled, and keep its independence. It must define its own sphere and confine those affection to the parts they affect. When though, as must happen in a composite unity, these affections are transmitted to the mind along the reverse route of sympathy, then you must not try to deny the perception of them, but your directing mind must not of itself add any judgment of good or bad. Live with the gods. Live with the gods. He lives with the gods who constantly shows them his soul content with its law, and performing the wishes of that divinity, that fragment of himself which Zeus has given each person to guard and guide him. In each of us, divinity is our mind and reason. Are you angry with a man who smells like a goat, or one with foul breath? What will you do? What will you have him do? This is the way his mouth is. That's the way his armpits are. So it is inevitable that they should give out odors to match. But the man is endowed with reason, you say, and if he puts his mind to it, he can work out why he causes offense. Well, good for you. So you too are no less endowed with reason. Bring rationality, then, to bear on his rationality. Show him, tell him. If he listens, you will cure him, and no longer need for anger. Neither hypocrite nor whore. You can live here in this world just as you intend to live it. I'm going to drink some water before I continue. You can live here in this world as you intend to live when you have left it. But if this is not allowed you, then you should depart life itself, but not as if it were some misfortune. The fire smokes and I leave the house. Why think this any big matter? But as long as no such thing drives me out, I remain a free man, and no one will prevent me doing what I wish to do, and my wish is to follow the nature of a rational and social being. The intelligence of the whole is a social intelligence. Certainly, it has made the lower for the sake of the higher, and set the higher in harmony with each other. You can see how it has subordinated some creatures, coordinated others, given each its proper place, and brought together the superior beings in unity of mind. How have you behaved up to now towards gods, parents, brother, wife, children, teacher, tutors, friends, relations, servants? Has your principle up to now with all these been, say no evil, do no evil? Remind yourself what you have been through and had the strength to endure. That the story of life is fully told, and your service completed. How often have you seen beauty, disregarded pleasure and pain, forgone glory, and been kind to the unkind? What do unskilled and ignorant minds confound the skillful and the wise? Well, what is the mind of true skill and wisdom? It is the mind which knows the beginning and the end, and knows the reason which informs all of existence, and governs the whole in appointed cycles through all eternity. Through all eternity. I need to enunciate my words properly. Just open my mouth bigger. In no time at all, ashes or bare bones, a mere name or not even a name, and if a name, only sound and echo. The prizes of life empty, rotten, puny, puppies snapping at each other, children squabbling, laughter turning straight to tears, and faith, honor, justice, and truth fled up to Olympus from the wide earth. So what is there left to keep us here? If the objects of senses are ever changeable and if the objects of senses are ever changeable and unstable, if our senses themselves are blurred and easily smudged like wax, if our very soul is a mere exhalation of blood, if success in such a world is vacuous, if our very soul is a mere exhalation of blood, if success in such a world is vacuous, what then? A calm wait for whatever it is, either extinction or translation. And until the time for that comes, what do we need? Only to worship and praise the gods, and to do good to men, to bear and forbear, and to remind that all that lies within the limits of your poor carcass and our little breath is neither yours nor in your power. You can always ensure the right current to your life. You can always ensure the right current to your life. If you can first follow the right path, if that is, your judgments and actions follow the path of reason, there are two things common to the souls of all rational creatures, God or man. They are immune to any external impediment, and the good they seek resides in a justice position, and just action, with this the limit of their desire. If this is no wrongdoing of mine, nor the result of any wrong done to me, and if the community is not harmed, then why do I let it trouble me? And what is the harm that can be done to the community? Community, 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 community. T or D? Community, community. Don't let the impression of other people's grief carry you away indiscriminately. Help them, yes, as best you can, and as the case deserves. And if their grief is for the loss of something indifferent, but do not imagine their loss as any real harm. That is a wrong way of thinking. Rather, you should be like the old man in the play, who reclaimed at the end of his foster child's favorite toy, never forgetting that it is only a toy. So here you are, broadcasting your pity on the hustings. Have you forgotten, man, what these things are worth? Yes, but they are important to these folks. Is that the reason? Is there any reason for you to join their folly? There is a time when I met luck at every turn, but luck is a good fortune you determine for yourself, and good fortune consists of good inclination of the soul, good impulses, good actions. The substance of the whole is passive and malleable, and the reason directing this substance has no cause in itself to do wrong, as there is no wrong in it. Nothing it creates is wrongly made, nothing harmed by it. All things have their beginning and their end in accordance with it. If you are doing your proper duty, let it not matter to you whether you are cold or warm, whether you're sleepy or well slept, whether men speak badly or well of you, even whether you are on the point of death or doing something else, because even this, the act in which we die, is one of the acts of life, and here too it suffices to make the best move you can. Look within. Do not allow the special quality or worth of anything to pass you by. All that exists will soon change. Either it will turn into vapor, if all matter is a unity, or it was scattered into atoms. The governing reason knows its own disposition, what it creates, and what is the material for its creation. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Wow. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. I need to repeat this. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Let one thing be your joy and comfort, to move on from social act to social act, with your mind on God. The directing mind is that which wakes itself, adapts itself, makes itself of whatever nature it wishes, and makes all that happens to it appear in the way it wants. All things have their accomplishments. All things have their accomplishment in accordance with the nature of the whole. It cannot be in accordance with any other nature, either enclosing from without or either enclosing from without or enclosed within, or any external influence. Either is due an intricate web and dispersal into atoms, or unity, order, and providence. Now if the former, why do I even wish to spend my time in a world compounded at random and in like confusion? Why have any concern other than somehow, sometime to become earth unto earth? And why actually am I troubled? Dispersal will come on me whatever I do, and if the latter is true, I revere it. I stand firm. I take courage in that which directs all. When circumstances force you to some sort of distress, quickly return to yourself. Do not stay out of rhythm for longer than you must. You will master the harmony the more by constantly going back to it. If you had a stepmother and a mother at the same time, you will pay attention to your stepmother, but nevertheless, your constant recourse will be to your mother. That is now how it is with the court and philosophy. So return to philosophy again and again, and take your comfort in her. She will make the other life seem bearable to you, and you bearable in it. How good it is when you have roast meat or such like foods before you, to impress on your mind that this is the dead body of a fish, this the dead body of a bird or pig, and again, that the Falarian, that the Falernian, that the Falernian, that the Falernian wine is mere juice of grapes, and your purple-edged robe simply the hair of a sheep soaked in shellfish blood, and in sexual intercourse, that it is no more than the friction of a membrane and a spurt of mucus ejected. How good these perceptions are at getting to the heart of the real thing and penetrating through it, so you can see it for what it is. This should be the practice throughout your life. When things have such a plausible appearance, show them naked. See their shoddiness. Strip away their boastful account of themselves. Vanity is the greatest seducer of reason. Vanity is the greatest seducer of reason. When you are most convinced that your work is important, that is when you're most under its spell. See, for example, what Crates says even about Xenocrates. Most of the things valued by the masses come under the category of what is sustained by cohesion, minerals, timber, or natural growth, figs, vines, olives. What is valued by the slightly more advanced belongs to the class of things sustained by a principle of life, such as flocks and herds. or the bare ownership of multitudes of slaves. The things valued by yet more refined people are those sustained by the rational soul. Not, however, reason as such, but reason expressed in craftsmanship or some other skill. But the man who fully esteems the soul as both rational and political no longer has any regard for those other things, but above all else keeps his own soul. Alright, this time's up, but we are going to be finishing this paragraph, okay? But the man who fully esteems the soul as both rational and political no longer has any regard for those other things, but above all else keeps his own soul in a constant state of rational and social activity, and cooperates to that end with his like. Imperfect practice is better than no practice. I'll see you guys tomorrow.